recollect, we attempted to do something like this, like the first, and we click on each, then we will enter going to a particular module. I also explained this one. Did I? Like you create another and then they will like for this module one, suppose the learner clicks on module one, listening skills, then they will enter this module one. So I hope you all got a chance to create this also. Great, that's great. And after creating it, did you keep it like your other topic? Let's say that we want the learner to start with this topic and the remaining topics will be disabled. So we create a state for that. Right. So get that. Let's today we will explore a couple of more things so that we can get started understanding how we can start using it a little more effectively. So we will explore a bit of animation today so that we can understand how this can be also used. To understand this, I'm just going to create some plain slides. Remember? Yeah. And then we first get a character because we are trying to animate. Let's say the character comes on the screen and says a dialogue like talking about the first topic of the particular, let's say the course module, module one. So we go ahead, insert a character. Let's say we insert a classic character, Samantha, insert. Yeah, I'm trying to just kind of corp it a bit because the whole character is may not be required. Let me, okay, we can do it this way or however way you want it. Suppose you created some kind of office background scene, then you can keep the entire character coming on the preview and then started talking about it. Alternatively, let's say I want the, let me just take some other character. I want to have a, like a more of a photographic character. Let's say Laura, insert her and then look for some images wherein I want the character to come and kind of be, be seated or maybe in a particular location. So it can be office desk or some kind of office scene or maybe some kind of chair table. So I'm just kind of going back to the, just so I'm just opening up the, a new tab and looking for some, let's say some chair where Laura can sit. Let's say chair and table. This is not going to work out that well. Something somewhere where I can make the character sit. Let's see. Yeah, I'm just going to take this and then go back, insert this here. And we can keep a kind of a table kind of a, in the front. So though it will be really great to get a one single image, but since I didn't get a one single image, I have to rely upon like this to get it done. So I'll just use this image instead of that. I think that could solve the problem to a large extent. If the images are not getting inserted, then all you need to do is you save the image. You may, oh, this is a WE file. I should take a screenshot, then only this problem can be solved. So I took a screenshot. Now I'm going to take it over here like this. Bring the character to the front, arrange it. let's say to the front, in such a manner, wants the character to be seated over here. Character pose can be changed a bit. So I can go to the, again, design and change the pose a little bit. Mm, just trying to figure out what could be the best. Okay, this may not work out. I think let me keep it this way. I'm going to corp and then make her seated here. You can see it over here. That's the whole plan. You can increase the size a little bit and I can further corp her. Yeah. Now we keep the character. If you want that office seat can be also corped a bit. Yeah. So that we would be able to just see whatever there in the screen. Yeah, let's say like this. And I'm going to keep her over here. Yeah, we want her to enter here and then say a dialogue. Let's say we insert a caption and type in some dialogue. Let's say, let's learn about the, the professional. Let's learn about how to at workplace and then something she's going to talk about it. Yes, so there we go. And now the thing is, you see, if you place her here, this is where we want her to come and start talking about it, this particular dialogue. Yeah, and more. I mean, this is just a little snippet of it. Yeah, so we keep her outside over here. Yeah, and create a go-to animation. Now, this is what you need to do. You can see the moment you're adding something, everything is getting added to your timeline. You can see here the image which we have uploaded. Yeah, the office image basically, and the your dialogue caption and your character also. So what we do, we want this character to come here and then start saying this dialogue. Everybody. So what we do, we go to animation and we click on the motion path because that is where we are doing a simple, very basic type of animation. Yeah. So select that object where we want the animation. We want the animation on the character, Laura. We go to animation and we click on the motion path because we have to use this animation. There are other animations also available. See your entrance animation, your exit animation. At this moment, we want a particular motion path which Laura need to be moved. See here. So the moment you insert this motion path, it will be always inserting like this. This small green color is a starting point. You see there? And the red color will be basically the stop point. So what we do, we can change the path of the motion like this by choosing the direction in which we want it. Yeah, let's say we want it from here to here. Alternatively, you can also use your, that using your mouse, you can also make it move. We want the Laura to start from here and come till the chair. See here. Can you see? I'm moving the character now and making the character sit on the chair. We stop it over here. This task is done. Yeah. So anything else you want to be added in the screen, let's say you want to have something like let's say a next button, you can do it. Most of the time the player itself will have a next button. You may not require to set a next button separately, but if you want any button, like let's say you want some kind of a more information you would like to give about this topic, at least 2 points you would like to give it about the topic, you can use button or you can use the placeholders, text boxes, etc. Alternatively, if you want, you can also use a marker. Let's say we use two marker, we want to give 2 points. So marker one, we type in some business etiquette like let's say delivering tasks on time, and you can increase the text also. So select the text, you can increase the size. Very simple. As you can see, I'm doing it right now. Yeah. So select a particular task. Yeah, and then you can use from your keyboard, press that control shift and your arrow key, greater than together to increase it, the keyboard shortcuts. Alternatively, the moment you click on the marker and you insert some text, you select the particular text, you will always have an option to also increase it here. Or you can also use the color picker and choose a relevant color. Let's say you want to change the color of it to some other color. The description can be also typed. I'm not placing any description at this moment. Let me just take some random text about it from the internet. That'll be real fast from. So I'm just taking this, whatever available at this moment. Yeah, and then we place it over here. Yeah, after placing, again, you select it. If you want to increase the size of the text a little bit, suppose you feel that it's too small, then you can increase it like this. Yeah, so this is one placeholder. On marker, sorry, which you insert. Again, go back to the marker and you can also insert another marker, let's say marker 2, or maybe another marker, marker 3. Yeah, so 3 markers because you're giving 3 pointers. You can choose a particular marker. How do you align it? I told you last time, select it. Yeah, and then come to your format and you will be able to, sorry, just a moment. Select it. Yeah, then you will be able to again go ahead and arrange it. So arrange it in the order, alignment, whatever you want to do it. You want to evenly distribute it, but you want to do it horizontally. So it'll be in order. You can select and change the color also. Over here, let's say you come to the format and you want the button color to be some other color. So you can choose a relevant color. Let's choose black color buttons for this time. And there we go. So we have 3 buttons. We have character. Now what we need to do, if you see here, we have set one motion path has automatically appeared. Did we set any trigger? Did I do any kind of trigger? This trigger has appeared because we did a motion path. We did animation. So if you see here what it says, when the timeline starts, it's automatically set because we set an animation. So it says move what? Character. Which is a character? Laura. Along the motion path one. So the motion path has been set. Laura from here outside the screen, she will enter the scene. When the timeline starts, now we need to remove this. We need to edit it because we want the Laura to not immediately enter the scene. Maybe we want her to enter the scene a little bit later. Yeah. So, or we want the this character to enter the scene when learner clicks on some button if you wanted it that way. Otherwise, we keep it as it is being given over here. Just so let me just quickly rename it the character. Yeah, Laura. Yeah. Can you see it over here? This shift from here to here because we have set a motion path over here. The starting of the motion and ending of the motion path. Yeah, the dialogue can be also inserted if you want. Let's do it through dialogue also so that you will be able to adjust things on the timeline. So we take the text and we go to insert once again and we click on this audio and we have text to speech. Yeah, so there we go. I'm going to choose neutral voices and say insert. Yeah, there we go now. Yeah, so I'm going to extend the timeline a little bit and then let's now set the thing. So we can set the triggers and everything. So you can see all these are objects on the screen. Whatever object you will have it in the screen will always be visible in your timeline. To make the objects go in a synchronized manner, all we need to ensure that we have objects number one, arrange in a proper order in your timeline. Number two, the objects are also having a proper trigger, the way we wanted it to be moved. Yeah, so what we want the, let's say we want to have a character entering the scene and be seated in this particular chair and then start speaking. Yeah, so see the dialogue. Where is the dialogue? It's over here. But Laura is entering the scene from here after 2 seconds. Can you see here? She will be seated on the chair only after 2 seconds. So what we do, we move this dialogue a bit, aligning it with the character. You can set it a little later after the character, split second, maybe you can say later. So character is seated and then character will start speaking. And only after that, we want to show the dialogue. So we again take this also, align it together in the same line. Okay, let's say we want the markers to appear later, not now. So again, we extend the timeline and we want the markers to appear only after Laura is done with saying the dialogue. Her voiceover will stop at 6 seconds if you see it over here. So what we do, we take the markers and we keep it only after 6 seconds. Let's say you want the markers to come one by one. Then we again arrange it in this particular order. You can align it like this also. If you wanted markers to come, let's say this is a number 2 and number 3, we stack it up like this. We're not doing anything with a trigger at this moment. This character, Laura, if you just go back to your animation, the motion path it's following. Let's say we would like to have the speed of the character, instead of going very fast or medium pace, we want to slow it down. So you can say slow. So you can choose a motion path speed also. Okay, so I've kept it as a slow over here. And then these points will appear one by one on the screen. Everybody with me? Did you follow the animation, people? Let's now try to preview it. Preview this particular slide. We have not set any trigger at this moment because its automatic trigger is set once we animate the character. But we can always edit the trigger also depending on the situation. I'll give you another demonstration where we can edit the trigger. Okay. Okay, I think I did not share my sound. I will just share the sound and then preview it with you guys. Okay, I completely forgot to do so. Yeah, now you will be able to hear.
Let's learn about the how to demonstrate professional behavior at workplace.
Yeah, so learner need to click now each button. So this is not, I mean, the order has been little shuffled. So you can see perhaps you need to keep this whole thing organized. Marker 3 need to come on the top, marker 1, as a, depending on the number, you know. So this will come one by one. The learner need to click. Laura can also say, please click on the below pointers to know more about it. And we can also have a voiceover for each of the marker, which is not been put over here. Let's say marker 1 comes and you have a voiceover for marker 1. Let's say, for example, this is a voiceover. So again, you can add up that. Let's say insert and we go to the audio button and you can set it. Let's say insert this particular content. And there we go. Now, you may notice that the moment you are inserting more content, it's basically inserting from the beginning. You can see here. We need to drag it, take it to the relevant place. So if this is a voiceover for the first, as we can have inserted it, it should come together. And the moment you do so, if you just notice it over here, your timeline is getting extended. I just let me undock it and kind of show you. Your timeline is getting extended. Yes, if I insert another, again, timeline will get extended. So this cannot be reduced because this is the size of your audio. We need to change the audio script to change it, or we can break it down into 2 parts. But again, more script, suppose this is a marker 2, again, another script is coming. Let's say we just kind of take the same as a script for this one also. So I have just kind of taking the same, inserting one more. Same text. I'm just showing you just for the sake of understanding. Okay, I lost the text. Let's say an insert. You can see now again that your whole thing is getting extended. Will be getting extended. Let's say we want it from here. So if you see here, this is where we are stopping. So more a size of your audio getting, your timeline will automatically get extended. Okay, so here let's keep it over here. So this is for your point number 2. You can see now if I select, this gets highlighted. This is the voiceover for it. And again, you can have it the same way for your. So what happened when you play it around? The learner need not have to click on anything. It will come on its own on that particular slide. So it's not trigger driven. The trigger, whatever we have set, is basically automatic set because of the your voiceover.
Let's learn about the how to demonstrate professional behavior at workplace. One of the best ways to deliver a project on time is by establishing an internal deadline.
So there's an overlap now. You can see this marker, which clearly indicates this marker gets over. We extend the timeline completely. Yeah, completely. Once this voiceover is done, then only the next voiceover will start for the marker 2. And if you really don't want it this way, another alternative way would be setting layer. It means the learner will click on a particular button, then they will go to layer. I will show you the layer also in due course of time, because we cannot have everything at one go. That will confuse us. But you can try this out briefly. This can help. Let me give you another animation option which you can use. So we will just try this out. Let me create some duplicate plain slides. So what we want in this particular scene is we want the movement of a character or a particular object. So if I just visualize a scene, the scene could be, let's say, it's a nature. Yeah. Let's say this sky could be a good one to use. Let me use this one. Okay, so I'm going to copy it, come back over here, insert it. If it's not getting inserted, suppose, then save the image. That way also you can quickly get it sorted. Let's say, let me keep it this, so that the entire screen is covered. Yeah, and I may have to do a little bit of corping. Oh, by mistake, I clicked on that. Come to the format, do a little bit of corping. I think this is where it sets. Yeah, there we go. Everybody. So we want an animation over this particular image. This is the background image we are considering. Yeah? The moment you set a object, you can see it's also appearing in your timeline. So what do we want? This time we will use a button to make the character move according to the button, not like just on your own. So what we can do the same in the previous scenario also perhaps. So we basically first insert some object which we want to move from this side to that side. So I'm just kind of taking an assumption. We want some birds or some aeroplane to move from this side to that side of the screen with the help of a button that will be clicked by the learner. So let me go ahead and get some photos, or I can, instead of photo, I can take some kind of icon. So I say birds, or we can take aeroplane, whatever you think, some kind of a flying bird would be more appropriate. So let me try flying bird. That will be the, okay, we got only 3, looking like a bird. Okay, this is going good. We can take it up this. Yes, and insert. I can increase the size. All the images are scalable. Yeah, I can just change the direction. Let's say we want these birds to fly from this side to that side. Oh, it's as you know, all these are made up of this what we call shapes are basically made up of shapes. That's why this thing got little moved away. So I'm going to just kind of carefully move the whole thing. Still, it's moving. There are two images. Let me carefully select both. Yes, there we go. Take this image outside the screen. If I want two birds to fly, I can make it. I can make one bird a little bit smaller than the other. Yeah, we just have to be a little careful. I'm removing of this. Okay, this will be one object. Yeah. So what we do now, we set some motion path. Let me just keep one bird just for the convenience, but you can have multiple also. So we select that particular object where we want to apply the motion. We apply a motion path. Now this time free form. Yeah. So click on that free form and start. This is your starting point. Yeah. From here, it moves and it exits over here. Yeah, we are done with the freeform. You can see the pathways now. Green is a starting point, red is an ending point. Everybody with me? So we can set the, let's say we choose object once again, then only this all will be highlighted and we make the speed a bit slow. Yeah, it's going to run for at least 2 seconds around. I can increase it a little bit more also if I want, let's say, and I will increase the timeline also. You can see how it's been now, been also extended in the timeline. Yeah, now what happens the moment you insert a motion path, you can see now this trigger is getting automatically set. Yeah, so what we need to do, we don't want the bird to move. That is icon. Icon is your bird. Let me just kind of put this as a bird and this as a view. So what we want, we will insert a button and when the learner clicks on that button, then only the bird will move from this side to that side. So we go to insert and we set a button. And that button could be anything like, let's say, move or like an arrow button to make things happen. You can again select it and increase the size of the particular, if you want to increase it a little bit, you can do so. See, it's increasing. Yeah, and let me set it as a, okay. Or you can click, you can type the start, whatever you wanted, that can be make it fly or start or move. Button can be anything. I mean, that button will explain whatever you wanted. So there we go. We now set a trigger. The trigger is already set. We will just kind of edit the trigger. So what is a logical action we want? Absolutely, we want action to move. What do we want to move? The bird along with the motion path, which we have set. When the timeline starts, though, when the learner, the user, let's say, clicks on the, not the bird, but on the button one. There we go. And okay. So like in the previous scene, which we saw just now, this one, Laura moved automatically. If you want, you can make a button also, like a start button. Then there will be an empty scene of this office chair table, and once the learner clicks on the start button, then only the Laura will enter the scene and say the dialogue, and then after that only these markers will appear and the text will appear and the voiceover will start. But we have not set a start button here. Perhaps we can do it over here. So let's preview it. You can add a sound also if you want to this whole scene. Let me just, okay, first let me just preview it. So perhaps I'll tell you in a moment how that can be also done. So nothing on the scene, no birds, no view. We click on the start button to make the birds fly around. You can see now it's following the motion path. Everybody? Okay, is it clear, this button? I mean the trigger. Now let's say you want the bird to move from this direction to that direction. It has already gone to that, from this side to that side. That is also possible. All you need to set another, I would say, trigger where you are creating the bird. And you can create another layer also. Perhaps I'll show you the layering part a little later because should not get confused. But I want you to try this out. Try the simple thing which we just attempted. Either you could try this. If you're trying this, please use a button to make the character move to the scene and then say the dialogue. Or you can try this where you're making some object. Let's say you have a map and you're making the character move across a map and reach to a destination, however you may want it. Because when you move a person from one side to another side, you have a couple of these options. You can use any of these motion paths. I mean, you can use the straight line, circle, free form, any of this. So try any of this. But again, your object, whether it's a character or whatever, it should move only when the learner clicks on the button. A couple of more animation options so that you can explore around. So at this moment, what we will be doing is we take a further control. The learner will take a further control of the character movement on the particular slide using the buttons. Are you all there, guys? So first, let's get a character. So just getting a classic character, let's say Jennifer. So what we want in this particular situation is we want the character to move around, you know, based on the button which the user clicks. You can use this option for when you want some kind of a game being created where you want the learner to take a control and make the character go to a particular place or destination or scene or particular option. Let's say we want the character to move across. Often you may have seen in small games where people play it with the mobile phone. They click on a particular button and the character moves, or the particular object moves from here to there. And that's what basically, instead of character, you can take an object also. So how we do it, let's understand that. So I'm going to make the character smaller and perhaps first set some animation motion path for the character. So there we go. We have this side, and this is one motion path. Let's set it and also write it over here. The way you can see character, and the motion path is basically, let me just write it over here. The motion path is down. Yeah, and I can also simultaneously set a button. Let me insert button, go to insert, and then you will have a button. So we are going to have around 4 buttons because a character might move in any direction. Yeah. So I've just created 4 buttons over here. I will also give the button some kind of indication. These additionals are created. I can remove it up. Now you can see for the first character here, we have basically this button 7. So I can also rename it. That'll be really convenience rather than just kind of keeping it. So here, what trigger we want, if you see the animation path for this particular button, if I just go to animation, I'll be able to see the path is very small. So you need to keep it very small, because what we will do is that we make the character move little by little, step by step. So here you come and click on this option called direction. No. Click on this option called, just a moment, click on it. And then you will have an option called relative start point. Let's keep the speed slow and let's keep the option and relative start point. Click on it. So what happens? This is from the green arrow here. She starts and she goes here. From here again, starting point will happen. That is what it basically referred at. Relative start point. Okay. So we need to do the same for the other buttons also. So let's again set another motion path for Jennifer. You can set a trigger also right away if you want, as it's been already created the moment we create a motion path. Move character motion path along with the motion path one. Yeah. Now, when this should happen? When the learner clicks on this button. So just double click it so that it'll open. You can say move character motion path along with the motion path 1 when timeline starts, or button click when timeline, when user clicks on which button? Down button. Excellent. So this need to be done a little carefully, otherwise it will just completely go. But remember, character can move only one direction at a time, not like she can move in every 360 direction. And then we again come back to the character and we set another motion path. Again, let's say this. Yeah. And this time, again, choose it very carefully and move the direction of the motion path. Keep the motion path always shorter. I think we have moved the incorrect motion path now. Let me just put it back. Just undo it so that there is no mistake. Yeah, so once again, motion path, and I can choose a relative left. So I can again kind of shorten this motion path a little bit because we don't want the character to move very fast. We want little movement. So I'm just decreasing this her here, and this is where we are moving her to left hand side. Yeah, so I can keep this button as left. So here, carefully, this button is left. Yeah, so we can set that. Remember, the motion path is need to be, remember which motion path you're setting. So you can see now in your trigger, again, another motion path is created. See here, motion path 1, motion path 1 already there, which we have moved the character. The motion, that is a character motion path down. Yeah, this is another motion path 1 which is created. So perhaps we just have to ensure that the naming of the motion path happens correctly. So on the timeline, since you cannot have multiple names for a motion path, the first one is already created. The second motion path, you see it over here. We just have to ensure that see the first motion path, because we are giving multiple motion paths. So if you see, this first motion path is like overwritten over here. The character. Yeah, so only it's taking one motion path. With the previous motion path is gone because we have set one motion path over here. You just see it over here. So from here only, the character will be moving. Yeah, so we can perhaps move character along motion path 1. We can do it when user clicks on motion path. Yeah, and the same, we can add another motion path. Motion path. Not able to understand which motion path is what. That's where the confusion is coming up. This is where you need to do it real carefully. So let me do it for 2 motion paths. So there's no confusion happening left and right. I think that can solve the problem a little bit relatively more. Yes, so there we go. This is for which motion path? Left. User little motion path. Okay, let's keep it down, I think, because we named it down. And then we can create one more for up, let's say, for this one. So we create another motion path for the character. No, it's taking up. Yeah, so when timeline start, motion path 2 is created and the motion path 2 is basically left. So I say move the character. It's which button? We'll just kind of remember the button 2 is the left button. So I'll just rename it in a while. When user clicks on button 2, which is basically move the when user clicks on button 2, move the character, that is character motion path. Move the character motion path along with the, move the character basically. Why is the character not coming over here? Okay, so it looks like one at a time it's taking. I'm just wondering why it's not happening in this manner. Let me just check on it where we are missing. We have two characters. If you could just see it over, this is how it will work out. I'll just quickly preview it for you. Though the characters are moving only in one direction. Let's say if you want one character moves in one direction, little bit, again, little bit. So you have the character is having command. It's not going outside. It may, after you make the character move completely, it can go completely outside the screen. And same happening in this particular case also. So we have two character and one button set for the particular character to make the character move. Yeah. Here we were trying to do it for the one character, but multiple buttons. Okay, so one character is taking up one animation. So right now, let's keep this and click on the user clicks on button 2, the character motion path along with this character will move basically. Let me just remove this particular one and we retain this one. So once again, motion path line, and we keep the motion path, let's say, towards the right hand side. We move the character here, decrease the size of the path a little bit. Yeah, and then I'm going to remove this. Just showing you once again, you can create the trigger. We will name this as a right button is what we are using at this moment. So button 4 is right. So we set a trigger. We say move the when user clicks on right button. There we go. So if you just see this is how we have, we need to set it also that option, which is the relative start point. So it will move little by little. So let's preview this. You can see here. Her orientation can be also changed if you want the character orientation. So we come to the, choose the character, come to the design, change her perspective to right hand side because we're moving the character to right hand side, and her pose also, like if you want her to be in the more of a straight walking pose, that pose you need to check out and find and perhaps insert it accordingly. Couldn't find any such kind of pose at this moment. I think this is good to go. So this is what can be done for the particular. Now let me show you something with the more of with the uh, layers, because that's where very important of. So I'll just show you a small scenario and perhaps we will try it out how it can be worked out. Yeah, so first let's see this one. This is what we will create. You know, this could help us. So I'm going to create some basic duplicates. What is a task which we're going to perform? It's like this. So this is a character. What we'll be using is a character button trigger. Yeah. And of course, some slide layers also. You can see this is a slide layer 1, slide layer 2, and slide layer 3 is created. So what happens over here, we preview it and perhaps you will be getting to know. The user will be clicking on a particular button, let's say happy customer button. Yeah, then the character's expression should change and the content should appear here. Let's say happy customer. So what you do with a happy customer, that is what the learner will understand over here. The voiceover can be also added in the trigger itself. So acknowledge and appreciate, okay, encourage feedback, whatever, maintain quality. If it's angry customer, see the expression of the character, and of course, character, the voiceover or the text can appear, where is it stay calm or listen actively, apologize, and then worried customer. Things to be done. So learner gets an interactivity by clicking on the button and the expression also changes. So how we do it, perhaps I'll just demo you. You can try it out and maybe show me in the next session. Everybody. So we bring a character. We can take any character. Let's say I'm going to take Olivia. You can insert it anywhere. Keep it a little bit more enlarged so that expressions are visible for that particular character. The moment you bring in the character, you would see it in the timeline also. We create 3 buttons. All the buttons will be on your base layer. Remember, this is your base layer which you're working. So we are at this moment in the base layer. So in the base layer itself, we'll create the buttons. We go to insert and we create 3 button and we will name the buttons also. So you have 3 buttons created. You can name it anything depending on the topic. If you want to simulate the same thing, that can be also done. Most of the time, characters will basically have different states. You know, if you just go here, I'll just show you. Choose a character, go to states, and then you can edit state. Okay. Say new state, and you will find these states here: alarmed, angry, asking, confused, disappointed, happy. These are the options available to us. And these are the default options which are basically available to us. Yeah. So what we could do, we can choose from any of them. Like, let's say at this moment, I am giving it as a, let's say, the character is so here, let's say surprised. Yeah. And the character is angry. And the character is worried or something, whatever. You can increase the size also a little bit if you want. Now what we do, we can definitely get a content at this moment. I'm not getting the content, but we create a layer. This is your base layer, remember. This is what the learners will see. Once they click on each of the layer, they'll be able to enter the actual scene. So you click on this new layer button. Can you see that towards the bottom of the screen here, new layer? Click on the new layer. Now, whatever is available in the base layer, as you can see it over here, my base layer, that will be visible. If you dim it, you will be able to see it in the dimmed, so that you know these are your base. This is your base layer. So dim it so that you know what is already existing in your base layer. Everybody with me? Right? Now, if you click on the small arrow on your timeline, you would be see all these objects are available in your base layer. If you want to vanish any object, let's say you want to remove the character, yeah, then you click on this, then you can again choose it over here, show or hide the object. So right now I've just unclicked, you see the character has vanished from the scene. Are you all with me? Yeah. So what we do now, this is our base layer 1. What layer is this? We can perhaps put it as a, let's say, your worried layer. You can name it so that there's no confusion at all, because we have to set a trigger for it. And then we get some content. Let's say I will get some, we get the character basically over here inserted. So I will again go to insert and get the character. I think we took the character. Whom did we take? Did we take Kurt? Did we take Samantha? Olivia, we took Olivia, right? Yeah, Olivia, we took it. So we come to the expression and we find out that relevant expression. It was the worried. So we can take it up. And if you want to have any particular pose, we can have it. This kind of a pose, let's say insert. And if you want any text box, that can be also inserted. So instead of text box, what I'm doing, I'm going to insert some kind of a image, let's say, or maybe some icon, let's say, so that you can distinguish it clearly. So there we go. Yeah. I'm just going to keep it over here. Though it's overlapping, but that can be also fixed. Your layer one is done. So you come back to the base layer, move these a little bit because looks like these are like kind of overlapping. You can change color of to any color you wanted, matching with the clothing of the Olivia. And then we come back and we create. Now, if you just go to your layer one, this is what layer one will have. Take a note. Olivia, the icon and the buttons. Buttons will be in the base layer. Okay. And then we create another layer. So we can perhaps start naming it also so that there's no confusion at all. So I'll just quickly go to the base layer and name the button. Button one is worried. So I will just name it so there is no problem later. This is our angry button. Button 2. And your button 3. Done. Now I'm going to come to the second layer. We're creating the second layer. Let's say do the second layer angry. Yeah, now you can again see the same things which are there on your, we don't want the character to appear. If you click on the small arrow, then only will be to see what is there in the base layer. You have to dim it, click on the dim button. If you don't dim, everything will be visible. You'll be confused, which is a base layer, which is a second layer, which is a third layer. So please click on the dim. Remember, you are on the layer at this moment. This is your untitled base layer. Okay, so uh, click on this hide because these are all shown. We need to hide this. Yeah. So to hide, unclick it, and then you will be able to see this particular character vanishing because we have to insert Olivia in a angry state over here, right? So we go to, now see the character is gone. Go to animation. It takes a few seconds for the character to go. Often when you basically unselect the character, especially in a character, it happens. So our next is expression is basically, we want her to be real angry. We choose a pose. Let's say this one, insert. And if you want, you can insert something so that you will be able to distinguish. So I can insert some kind of illustration. It's time. Yeah. So there we go. This is done. We come to our one layer is, this layer is ready. We go to our third layer. A third layer is surprised. Yeah. So again, we uncheck the character because we don't want the character to appear over there. And then click on the Olivia is already selected. Whatever you select lastly will be always visible over there. And we put a pose now. Let's keep this pose. So all poses are different, so it'll be also evident. Yeah. And then, okay, it's not inserted. Okay, it's hanging now, unfortunately. Bad. Okay, so people have to restart this. Looks like. Yeah, I'll open it again. Often happens, especially when we are working around with the character. Okay, well, it recovered, it says. Okay. Yes, it recovered to a large extent, except that we lost that we couldn't insert the character. So once again, expression, I think, surprised, and the pose could be something like this. Great, it's inserted. Yeah. And if you want any kind of content, it can be also text-based content, which can be taken. Okay, let's say handle. Let me not search over here. Let me just insert some kind of photo. I'm just taking random picture. Something went wrong in my search. Okay, so assume this is some kind of a text which we have inserted. All our layers are ready. So you can see that this is what we have it. Unclick it and check it that this is also there. Yeah. Everybody clear? Okay. Okay, we come back to the base layer and set the triggers now. This is where we set a trigger. Let's say uh, the trigger would be basically where we say show the layer, and we need to definitely remember which layer is what. You can see the, let's say, surprise layer when the user clicks on the button surprised. Okay, yeah. And then we just kind of apply it for rest all. I'm just copying, pasting it. I'm going to change it now. Show the layer angry when user, let's say angry, user clicks on angry button, surprise button, show the layer worried. Everybody clear? Check the triggers. Are we clear? Yes. Let's just kind of preview it. Yeah, so there we go. Worried, angry, surprised, once again angry. You can see, very simple. Instead of these images, basically you may have text or icons or some animated video. It can be anything, you know. The character is also showing the expression. That's how we can kind of do it. So this is how you can create the layers. I mean, within one slide, you're accommodating a lot of information. At the same time, you're giving a learner the ability to interact. There are more features. In fact, simple triggers, what we worked in the previous session and today's session is just to, understand that triggers can really help. And plus layers can add up really more advantages. We will be exploring more options which are available because a lot of interactive elements which are available over here in which you use the button. Other than button, you have slider, dial, hotspot. We will be exploring that bit by bit. You can perhaps try this exercise. I will explain you right away. So let me first tell you how to do the screen recording, and after that, I'll tell you about the scenes. Right? So to do a screencast, what you need to do, you click on this button, screen record. Yeah? The moment you click on the button, can you see this floating panel now, which has appeared, small dotted line here? Yeah. So we can expand it also, the screen size. So what I can do now, I can go to Google Chrome and let's say I want to record something, which could be I may speak and something can be explained, or it could be also existing video where I would like to record, not the entire thing, but a small portion of it. Like there's a process mapping or something has been explained and I want to take a few seconds clipping out of it and which I want to include in the particular course. So what I can do, I can perhaps first go to some video because it's screencast. So on YouTube, I may search for something, let's say on how to use, what do we say? Let's say VLOOKUP in Excel or maybe something else. Let's say some kind of a tool. Let's take up the same topic itself, VLOOKUP in Excel. Yeah, so then we will get some videos or maybe some explanation. So I'm exclusively looking for some videos. So I can go to videos. And let's say I figured out this particular video, which is given directly in the Microsoft website. Yeah. Now downloading may not be viable. So what I'm going to do, I can do a screen recording of it. So I can choose a size of the screen which I wanted. The size of the screen could be a bigger size or smaller, however. But take a note, this is what you can, this is a preview what you can have it. Yeah. So right now, pause the video. What we do, once the thing is ready, so you can do it full screen also. So it's mentioned here full screen. What I can do, I can click on this. Let's play this particular video, and I can start the process of recording. Yeah, so it's starting 1, 2, 3. Recording. Yes, I'm going to say done now. Yeah, and then pause the video. So those many seconds wherein we did that, see that 1, 2, 3 came and then I paused, then I said done. It means within those seconds, it's going to basically record and insert it in the articulate. And that's going to happen now. Just a moment. Yeah, there we go. You can see now it's been inserted. I can also export this video if I want to save the video somewhere. You want to use it for later purpose. That option is also available. So I can save it if I want to save. However, I don't want to save it right now. So I'm going to cancel. I can say insert. That's going to take a few seconds to insert. Okay, so there we go. Now you can see it, oh, it's been inserted. I can further, reduce the size of it however you want it. Small minor edits of the video also can be done, which we will be seeing it when we do the media and the audio video edit section, but not much. But this is where you can do a screencast where it's not necessary you record a YouTube video. You can also do a live demonstration and then you can record it. Both the audio as well as video can be recorded, or it can be recorded on a mute mode without any audio. So here, once that particular audio is added, you can see in the timeline now that particular audio which has been added, which is basically a screencast. If you want, you can always insert a character. I mean, the character can explain some dialogues and kind of speak on it. So Andrew comes and then he will say that, click on this particular video to have a better idea about how to use a VLOOKUP. So something like that can be created. I think it's hanging for me now. It's because I try to insert the character, right? And then the trigger button, now it's hung completely for me because whenever we try to insert a character, this is a typical problem which is being faced. So I'm just going to again, just end task. Perhaps I did not save it. So looks like, but did you get the idea? Right. So I am going to just do the end task for this one. I'm going to show you the scene also, just scenes, and I think that was a query which you had. Yeah, so usually there are basically three views. One is a story view. This is a story view because in the story view you will have multiple scene. So if you see here on my screen, this is one scene, this is another scene, this is another scene, this is another scene, this is another scene. Okay, story view will basically give you the overview of the entire articulate, that particular project which you have created. That story view you can take it in this manner. Let's say you have a particular module and that module contain that particular topic, the course contain multiple modules. So you've divided them into scenes. Usually scenes are used for branching out. Yeah, so as we move on with learning, we will get a better idea how we can branch out, basically connecting one scene to another scene, especially in simulation, right? Now, inside each scene, if I just click on it, you will find slides. These are called slides. Story view will give you the overview of the entire, all the set of scenes which are available and the connection between one scene to another scene. No, you need to create a scene. You need to create a scene. How do you create a scene? You can go ahead and go for a new scene. See here, right click and new scene. You can also go from here, new scene. From your top ribbon, can you see besides the top start button, there's a new scene over here? Or you can click on the new scene, then you will have another scene. This scene has only one slide, which has been inserted as default. So I can go insert another slide over here, another slide over here. Then I can work on each of these slides. Yeah. So if I just pictorially show you, it could look something like this. See here. Your story view will contain multiple scenes, as you can see here over here. Yeah. Each scene will have multiple slides. So if I put the slide in a slideshow manner, this is what it would look like. If you just carefully notice. So this is our scene, multiple scenes which are there. Yeah. And all these scenes are, and these are also scenes, 10 scenes are there. And you can see the branching out, which is given in the red color. So wherever there's a trigger set, then you will be able to see that in the red color. Yes, that's what we say. The red line helps to review the triggers. It means if I click on, for example, if I click on a particular, let me just clear the annotation, doesn't get clear on its own. There's no shortcut button also, which I couldn't figure out so far. Okay, so you can see now these red color lines. If the learner is clicking on a particular option on that particular slide, depending on the situation or the button he is going to click, he will land up in this scenario. Suppose he clicks on the first button, let's say. If he clicks on the second button, he will come here. If he clicks on the third button, he will come here. He clicks on the fourth button, let's say he will come here. So this is how we connect slide. How do we connect here? Using the trigger button. Yes, exactly. So these red lines in a particular, you can see here for further example, basically helps us in knowing where is a trigger. This slide is connecting to which scene or which slide. Yeah, so that's the connection between the story view and the scene and the slide.